and we are currently coming to you live from our non-Super 8 Motel 6 hotel room here in Austin, Texas. A lot of big news and exciting stuff to share with you guys today. I'm joined with, of course, the Elon man himself, Medium Rob. Hey, Rob.
Hola! Is your boy Big Rob back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. It's a very strange thing, Sin City Crypto, even though we're not in Sin City.
Lone Star City.
Yeah.
Lone Star State. Bitcoin is moving $69,300, up 2.6% over the last 24 hours. The markets are starting to turn green. We've been sharing extremely bullish news for feels like weeks and months now. And although price has inched up, we've seen those, 6, 7, 10, 15% drawdowns. And people are like, well, when is it going to affect the price? Maybe this is the new Bitcoin price movement. Maybe it's slower rallies up, slower rallies down, slower rallies up, slower rallies down, as more large money comes into the space and liquefies the market. So liquefies, it's a cool word. The rest of the markets look great. Ethereum at $3,800, Solana at 171. That is up 1.2% over the last 1 hour. XRP pretty much flat across the board. Hour, day, and the week, literally 0.13, 0.13, and 0.03. Doge Cardano is also flat across all time frames. And then Toncoin up 1%. Some of the biggest gainers that we have, and then we'll get into some of the news. Interesting stuff happening. Is Elon Musk the new crypto czar for a potential Donald Trump cabinet? We'll talk about that. Not coin.
Yeah, the Not Coin is
On Toncoin.
It's on Toncoin. It's like a gaming token.
Yeah, I'm pulling up their website. First thing that pulls up is probably nothing. But something like this, it's got a market cap of $1.2 billion, decent volume, 1.3 billion, which actually ranks number 10. That's pretty high. But this is something where, the risk versus reward curve starts to go more towards risk as you miss out on a lot of these gains. But some of the other big gainers for the day, Ordi is up around 19% over the last 24 hours. Arweave up after the AO supercomputer announced that they're probably going to have their own token. It's going to be fair launch. And how are you going to get that fair launch? One of the ways is being an Arweave token holder. And so people are speculating. They're trying to, hey, I want some of the AO supercomputer. I think it was right after ICP came out, Dfinity came out and said, hey, we're the only smart contract that can run a 100% AI on it. Well, 100% AI ran smart contract. Arweave came out with the AO supercomputer saying the same thing. We're one of the few. And so looks like people are trying to farm on that. Uniswap is back up over $11. So I think a lot of this also has to do with...
Uniswap is up over 50% on the week. They've been absolutely crushing it. Obviously, it's the DEX on Ethereum. Obviously, a lot of interest in Ethereum with the ETF coming out.
I think it has to do with ETH pretty much not being a security. And so people are thinking, hey, is there even... We saw a Wells notice, but that doesn't mean there's a lawsuit yet. Does that mean the SEC is not going to file the lawsuits? I think people are trying to farm on that as well.
Yeah, I look at Uniswap being up 50% as an indicator that the entire ecosystem for Ethereum is probably going to be up very, very strong. I would say this, any ERC20 tokens, if they haven't rallied yet, you might want to take a look at those. What are some ERC20 tokens that pop up? I mean, okay, well, actually here, before we get into the ERC20 tokens, other ETH plays by proxy, you got Polygon, hasn't yet moved at all this week, not today.
Hasn't moved in like 3 months.
Yeah, could this be the next project? Like, I like to look at things in sectors, right? If all of a sudden AI starts pumping or one AI token kills it, or say NVIDIA comes out and all of a sudden they're having insane quarterly earnings and you have a feeling that the whole AI sector is going to pump, take a look at the AI tokens that haven't moved. And so for me, ETH, obviously ETF approval, as David alluded to, it's probably has something to do with the fact that the SEC might just leave it alone and, hey, proceed like Bitcoin as far as regulation. Obviously, the SEC doesn't go after Bitcoin. I don't think that the SEC is really going to put much pressure on the Ethereum Foundation moving forward. At least I wouldn't think so now that they passed the ETF, but anything's on the table, honestly. But for me, hey, this sector probably is primed to pump. The leading ETH token, which is Uniswap, is up massively, 50% in a week. And so I look at things like Polygon, hasn't had any kind of pump at all. Or maybe if you want to go super degen, you can even look at some ETH Classic. And I know that you shake your head, but from a pure speculative perspective, ETH Classic has moved in tandem with Ethereum, usually a little bit of a delay. So if you're looking for some maybe entry to exit swing plays on a maybe 30-day time window, I think Ethereum Classic might be something to consider. What other, is there any other Ethereum?
Mantle's a big one.
Mantle,
the Graph.
I mean, Graph, yep. Lido's another good example. I mean, it's up 11% on the week, but it hasn't moved today. And so is Lido a good play for something to get exposure to?
I was more bullish on Lido with if staking was going to be included in the ETF, which we know it's not. So, but that doesn't mean it's not going to come.
Yeah, I mean, the staking is there regardless if they use it on the ETFs or not. And where the token becomes deflationary and with more and more people using the network and more transactions, perhaps people be incentivized to use the staking and Ethereum network, and maybe maybe a project like Lido could stand to have a massive rally if we see just say this. If Ethereum were to say to get to $10,000, which is a little over 2x from where it is now, given an ETF, I mean, if you look at Bitcoin's ETF when it got approved, we saw a 2x rally from there for the most part. It got approved at 40,000. Didn't quite get to the full 2x, but I think that with the smaller market cap, Ethereum, with a surge of liquidity, a surge of interest, surge of buyers, Wall Street coming in, picking up Ethereum, I could see $10,000 on the table. What do you think? Let's say 6 weeks after the ETF goes live, after they pass the S1s, and it starts trading, and companies start accumulating. Do you think $10,000 6 weeks post ETF approval is?
I think it's too high.
You think it's too high?
Yeah, I think more like $6,000.
So you think it'll underperform Bitcoin's ETF? So Bitcoin went from 40,000 to 70,000. So you think that smaller market cap Ethereum is going to have a less of a pump than the Bitcoin ETF?
I think so. I think less money is going to flow into the Ethereum ETF.
You are crazy.
You think more money is going to flow into ETH than Bitcoin?
No, I think more percentage gain. Remember that Ethereum.
What does that even mean? More percentage gain?
It takes less money to move the price of Ethereum. It takes more money to move the price of Bitcoin, and so Bitcoin is 3 times larger than Ethereum as far as market cap, right? And so you would take 3 times the amount of money. So if it were to move, if you were to have the exact same amount of money pour into Ethereum as you did Bitcoin, it would outperform Bitcoin by 3 times. So
okay, let me ask you a question. So the Bitcoin ETF went live, right? It was mostly retail got in, right? The institutions, the big hedge funds, they're slowly starting to get in. But what did we see from BlackRock? We saw, hey, we're hosting a class, we're hosting a summit to teach people about Bitcoin. How long has that been taking? And you're teaching them about Bitcoin. Good luck teaching them about Ethereum. Hey, so it does this. It's a smart contract platform. Well, yeah, smart contract platform does this. And well, the token is proof of stake, and you can stake it, and the consensus mechanism, and it's kind of like programmable money, but it's also like digital oil.
When people are investing in NVIDIA, they don't care how the
but they know what NVIDIA
works.
Does.
Yeah, it powers AI, and you know
they
what?
Make chips.
Ethereum powers smart contracts, and it gives functionality to blockchain. While Bitcoin,
and you think these people understand that?
It doesn't matter if they understand.
Of course it matters. If it didn't matter, why the hell would BlackRock go out and put out classes to teach people about Bitcoin?
I'm just saying that regardless if the investor understands how blockchain works and understands the people that invested in Bitcoin don't know how the Bitcoin ledger, and they probably have no idea who Satoshi is. They probably don't know anything about devs. They probably just know that, well, there's like a mining reward thing and it's digital money. They like, even all of it, you think that, I know we operate in our own little world. The people that have recently got exposure to Bitcoin are uneducated in blockchain. They just look at this from a straight investment perspective, and I think that they have the nod or the sign off by the major institutions out here, the BlackRocks, the Fidelities. These companies have basically said, hey, we're offering these services, so obviously it's been legitimized, right? And so I think that people are just simply investing in it because they know at this point it's not a scam, right? If all of the large asset managers are offering Bitcoin as a instrument or a tool or a store of value, then it must be here to stay, right? And I think that people are going to look at the same way for Ethereum, and I don't think that you need.
Just what happened in 6 weeks. Your time frame was 6 weeks.
6 weeks. 6 weeks post the approval of the ETF. So, I mean, that would put us probably around like, was it July? So
no, it's not.
No, I'm saying July is the approval. No, mid-July.
No. Look at this. So I'm looking at an article. So the SEC told Ethereum issuers to get their first round of the S1s ready by Friday. So they're trying to move fast on this thing. So we'll probably get it before July 4th. We talked about July 4th as a date yesterday. We'll probably get it before then. I mean, it's just so weird, right? The Bitcoin ETF, the 19B4s and the S1s pretty much hit at the same time, and so it was started trading right away. Ethereum, it was literally silence for months. A week, like not even a week, 3 days before the deadline, we start hearing rumors that it's going to get approved. The S1s aren't ready. They haven't made comments on it. They haven't asked for changes on the filings. And now they approved the 19B4s, and now they're trying to rush into S1s. Like, tell me again why this is not political. It's 100% political. But hey, you know, it's good for our bags.
I'm still stuck on $10,000 Ethereum, and let's just say, okay, so do you think that it would be absolutely insane if Ethereum hit $10,000? If it 2x?
No.
Okay, so let's just say hypothetically that happens. What happens to Uniswap, Lido, to Polygon, to Mantle, to maybe even something speculative like Decentraland? Anything that's ERC20, like. What happens to those projects? Do they outperform Ethereum? Do you think that?
Well, here's what you got to remember. Like, unlike Solana, right? Nothing happens on layer 1 for ETH. Well, not nothing, but majority of it happens on L2s, right? So sometimes it's these L2s that front run the movement on Ethereum, but also the opposite can happen as well. But you want to be in, for me personally, if you're trying to make Ethereum plays outside of ETH itself, you want to be, and from my opinion, you want to be in infrastructure. Uniswap, like you mentioned, Lido with the staking, maybe some ERC memes. Memes are here to stay, man. Like IMX is a decent one. That's tied to Ethereum. And so you have a lot of options like Optimism, Arbitrum, projects like that. And now again, those can front run the ETH move, but obviously we've seen money starts flowing ETH. Things are just a little different. Like Aave is a good one. Compound is super undervalued right now, unless the thing just dies. It's outside. I think it's outside the top 100. Compound was a leading DeFi protocol on Ethereum last cycle until Aave started catching traction, and Compound is ranked outside the top 125. You gotta keep going to find that sucker. There it is, 142. 142. And if you click on that, you'll see last market top, it got to over, no, go to all time. It got to over 600, $900. And sitting at what, $50?
Compound's a very interesting play. I'll always circle back to when in doubt on which sector to kind of eyeball. Like, oh man, I think Web3 is gonna hit gonna crush it. I think AI is gonna be a big thing. Maybe NFTs come back. Don't ever discount DeFi, because that is why crypto was built. You look at the title for the Bitcoin white paper is peer-to-peer network. Basically, just it's DeFi, right? That was the reason cryptography or blockchain cryptography was created, was to allow two parties, me and David, to transact without an intermediary. That is the definition of DeFi. And so if you're ever in doubt on where to do your next research or to try to find your next project, I always say have some exposure to DeFi, because that's what crypto's built. That's what crypto does best, honestly. I mean, you can put identification on a blockchain and then send it here and Oracle. Like, you can do all that. That's great. But don't ever forget that at its core, it does finance in a decentralized way better than anything out there. So
now we'll talk about the Bitcoin ETF. So Goldman Sachs, regarding the evolution of Bitcoin ETFs from skepticism expressed amazement at the success of the Bitcoin ETFs, highlighting a significant shift after years of doubt regarding the cryptocurrency from the Wall Street giant. Specifically, because he was so Matthew McDermott, he's at Consensus, indicated that the approval of the spot ETFs on Bitcoin by the SEC at the beginning of this year marked a, quote, important psychological turning point for the entire sector. We've been talking about how the ETFs just give legitimacy. We know we don't need it, but hey, guess what? The people that we want to come in the space with all their money, they need that legitimacy. We take a look at the ETF flows. Yesterday was pretty mundane, yesterday and the day before. 24.6 million of inflows from BlackRock, 17.7 from Fidelity. Bitwise had a pretty decent day at number 3, 11 million. We did see outflows from Grayscale of around $31 million, which brought our total net flow to $28.3 million for the Bitcoin ETF. And so everyone was kind of like, all right, we're 2 months in. We stopped seeing those massive 500, 600 million dollar inflow days. And everyone's like, okay, is this thing going to fall by the wayside? Just look at the month of May. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days of over $100 million of net inflows. 9 days. And that's only going back to May 13th. So over the last 2.5 weeks, we've had 9 days of over $100 million of inflows. This is going to continue unless you think that money that was going to go into the Bitcoin ETF is not going to, maybe some of it's going to flow into the Ethereum ETF, or is it going to be fresh capital? I don't know. That remains to be seen. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think anybody that bought Bitcoin ETF is going to sell at this point. I feel, at least not to buy into Ethereum. I think that people are just going to take fresh capital and move it into Ethereum. Not to say that the number will be 0, but I think it'll be negligible. I don't think that you'll see any major outflows of Bitcoin that is traceable that goes to Ethereum. Could there be some? Sure. Are there some more high risk firms out here that are going to say, hey, look, you know what? Let's sell 20% of our Bitcoin, get some Ethereum ETF? Sure, I can see that. But I think it's going to be pretty negligible. I'll say this: we are moving into the meat and potatoes of the bull market, and you know what? I would expect that we're going to see some big parabolic moves in the Bitcoin ETF. The grayscale selling has subsided; it is slowed down, but the inflows are still coming in, and so. Selling subsided, buying is here. So I'm just telling you, man, the amount of money that is flowing into Bitcoin, the smart money that's getting exposure, we're seeing headline after headline of big companies, large banks, the major banks of the world taking a position on Bitcoin. there's only so much Bitcoin to go around, and as these companies and banks keep purchasing Bitcoin, less the supply, more supply shock, gonna cause a squeeze on the price. And I would expect the price of Bitcoin to start edging towards that 100K mark in the next 3 to 4 months.
I think when it starts really, I think when it breaks that 74 and it doesn't go below it for, let's just say, 5 to 7 days, I think the next leg up is going to be that 90 to 100K.
Yeah, I think it shoots straight past 74,000 and goes right above 80.
I don't know. I still think we'll see some resistance at 74, right?
No, but I think when we break 74, the previous all-time high, or maybe just a few $100 shy of that, whatever the actual top was.
74.
So once it breaks through $74,000 and it's above it, say hits 75, 76, comes back, tests 74 again, back up to 76. That is, from my opinion, very short-lived. I believe that once we're above 75K for more than, say, 2 days, I think it's straight to 80K, and I think that like 81,000 or something will be a major level of support from that point. So
we haven't even had the retail investor, right? We know they talk about the ETFs is mainly retail, but you're talking about the TradFi retail. We haven't had like crypto retail in yet. So add that to everything that's happening.
It's also right on time. I mean, it's not like we're odd. Like, where's retail? Why aren't they here? If you remember last bull market cycle, when did everybody start to really buzz about Bitcoin? When was everyone really starting to just buy some kind of altcoin or blockchain, or Cardano or Solana was new? That came after Bitcoin rallied from its 8,000 past 20,000, past 30,000. It wasn't until Bitcoin,
it was breaching previous
when Bitcoin was around $40,000-$50,000. That's when everyone woke up and was like, whoa, how did we get here? And if you were to take that snapshot in time, Bitcoin at $40,000-$50,000, the previous all-time high prior cycle was 18,000-20,000. And so it was a full 2x. Last bull market cycle, it didn't get interest from retail until it was a full 2x above previous all-time high. So if you were to take that same ideology and say, okay, previous all-time high from the cycle was 60-odd thousand, right? I don't think that you really peak the interest of retail until you are above 100,000, above 110,000. That's when I think that you're.
I think 100K is a number. I think what's different this time, Rob, and normally I would agree with you. I think what's different this time is crypto, Bitcoin has hit mainstream. So I think it's going to take less time to get that information and that FOMO in front of people, because now you got CNBC, MSNBC, Fox Business, CNN, campaigns.
They were there last time. Remember the Robinhood and the Bitcoin and the Doge? Everybody was talking about it, man. Everybody was talking about it. They were hyping up FTX as the guru god master himself.
It's not like we have now. But I do think 100K is a number.
No,
I think at 100K,
I think that there was just as much media interest in the growing size of Bitcoin, and that they were interviewing everybody, bro. Anybody they could put a microphone in front of. NBC was asking them about Bitcoin, and everyone was shooting it down one after another.
Robin, but now you have but now you have more ways to buy it. Versus someone watching, let's say let's say Robin's watching on TV, doesn't know shit about Bitcoin. You're sitting there, you're watching your favorite show on Fox or MSNBC, CNN, whatever the case may be. Someone comes on, they talk about Bitcoin, and you're like, damn, okay, wow, this thing is really moving. Okay, all right, how do I buy some? Oh, you got to download this app, and then you got to connect your wallet, or you got to connect your bank account, and then you have to KYC, and now you have to buy the Bitcoin and make sure. Instead, Robin sits there and is like, okay, this Bitcoin thing, yeah, all right, perfect. Go to my self-directed account, go to my 401k, buy some of the ETF, bam.
It's easier now, there's more liquidity, and that's what takes us to the next level. without the new liquidity, you cannot make massively new all-time highs. It's just how markets work, right? There was a reason that Bitcoin couldn't go over was it $3,000 when it was on Mt. Gox, because there was no liquidity, right? There wasn't any providers that were offering Bitcoin services that was trusted. And then last bull market, and then in 2017, you had a handful of exchanges. 2020 had a ton of exchanges. That the new exchanges that came in, the FTXs, the Binance, all of these new exchanges, Coinbase growing in size, they offer the liquidity to take the price to the next level, right? Same thing is here. For us to get to that next level, we need to have larger institutions that can provide trillions of dollars of liquidity. Remember, trillions, not billions. And so in the prior format, we didn't have any exchanges out here that had money like that, right? They were managing. And at least when we saw the FTXs, when we saw the Celsius, when we saw BlockFi trying to manage hundreds of billions of dollars, they fumbled the ball, right? They haven't been in that position. They haven't had that responsibility. So now we have these new exchanges, quote unquote, asset managers, the BlackRocks of the world, Fidelities, these guys that have been doing it for over 100 years. They've been managing billions of dollars. Now with inflation, trillions of dollars. They have the means and capabilities of offering these services. And with that said, we have the liquidity, we have the fuel, we have the firewood, whatever you want to call it, to take a price to the next level. And if Bitcoin, if retail demanded it, or if the traders demanded it, if institutions demanded it, we have the liquidity now to take Bitcoin to $500,000. It wasn't possible or feasible before, realistically.
And you have the infrastructure.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't, with the collapse of all the exchanges and the mismanagement of money, when Bitcoin was simply $1 trillion, imagine what would happen when Bitcoin was $1 trillion, $8 trillion market cap, and it was $500,000 for one Bitcoin. There's no way that we wouldn't have had collapse and mismanagement at an even more grander scale than we saw before. I do want to, just to give a little love to the chat here. If you're new, well, first of all, if you're watching us and you're familiar with us, you see we're in a hotel room. We're out here in Consensus, out in Austin, Texas, the largest cryptocurrency convention in the United States. So we're out here just trying to talk to some of the projects, get some insight, reconnaissance work, you know.
We did go to Helium yesterday.
Yeah, we did. Which we'll talk about that in a minute. On the back end of this, in about 15 minutes, we'll do some Q&A. So if you guys want to ask any questions, we'll save those for about 15 minutes from now. And then if you're new here, also say hello. We'd love to give you a little shout out. I did see a couple of new faces. I didn't have time to write everybody down. We got Gizmo, Red Elephant, 24 Baby Bull, Razvan, also Crypto Styles, and then All Junior and Dinosaur. Terry Domer. And so to all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. Say hello, man. We'd love to give you a shout out right back at you. So
the title of the video is the new czar. Is Elon Musk the new czar of crypto? That's a favorite word amongst the White House people. So apparently, and of course Elon Musk has refuted this, but there's multiple sources that say Elon Musk is talking to Donald Trump about Bitcoin policy. My question is, why is Elon Musk the one advising Trump about crypto? Elon Musk is not a crypto guy. He's not a developer in crypto. His company owns Bitcoin, but it's just weird to me. Like, why not people in the space who are actually in the space? Vitalik, Charles. I mean, you just name off people in the space that are crypto native.
I'll tell you exactly why. Because he's not influenced by politics and money. And so his company policies that he's had before have went against the trend. Like, we saw that he was willing to bet the entire X platform and say, you know what, we won't take marketing, and if we fail, so be it. But you know what, we're not going to take marketing money from, or we don't care to change our voice. We're not going to accommodate our message for the sponsors, right? And then that's when they lost Disney, and, you know, he had his anti-Semitic views, and he lost Disney and a handful of it. And so other companies that had influence by money, by politics, would have simply folded. They would have had their PR team come out with a statement, and they would have been like, hey, you know what, we messed up, blah, blah, blah. He didn't do that. He was just like, you know what, F y'all. He literally got up on stage, and he threw the middle finger and just called everyone out by name and said, F y'all. And he's obviously been very vocal when it comes against FAA policies, when he's launching his rockets, and other areas in his company. I know it is automotive. He's fought a lot of regulation, obviously electric cars, and there's a lot of conformity that a company needs to do to operate within the confines of U.S. laws.
Bro, the White House literally has meetings with the top automotive, like electric vehicle automotive companies and CEOs, and he doesn't get invited.
That's what I'm, so. But here's the thing: Elon's not gonna fold to a political demands. Elon's not gonna fold to a check being written by a large bank or institution, right? He has his morals and principles. He's the richest man on earth, or I don't know if he's behind Bezos right now, but either way, he's either one or two, and he's not going to be influenced by big money or politics. And so if you're Donald Trump and you're trying to establish policy, monetary policy in a financial system, who are you supposed to go to that can't be easily bought? Give me one name that also has some familiarity with crypto.
The Rock.
The Rock. No, and so that The Rock, really?
I just watched a documentary on how they call him the Dwayne the Ad Johnson.
Yeah, that man will take a paycheck for just about anything. But, and so for me,
I see what you're saying, but I'm just like, how much insight and expertise does he really have? Maybe
the
Trump
dude created PayPal. The man literally created the first internet-based payment solution. Sure, it was a centralized option, but I mean, obviously he holds Bitcoin. He might be Satoshi. There's rumors of that. I know that is a wildish, outlandish theory, but you can look into it. There's some plausible threads you can pull on there.
I mean, he's got enough money to where 1 million Bitcoin wouldn't matter to him, right? I mean, it would matter, but it's not like.
So I just look at it from a perspective like, hey, you can get real intelligent responses and questions from somebody that might not be educated. So if you're Donald Trump, you can say, okay, who can I talk to that can give me a straight answer without BSing me or being persuaded by money? It's Elon, right? What other person can Donald Trump be like, hey man, what do you think about crypto? And they're going to give him a straight ass answer.
Charles Hoskins. Max Kaiser.
Charles is going to tell him that.
Max Kaiser, listen, President Trump, everything is shit except Bitcoin. That would be his thesis. You know, it's funny. I'm looking at this tweet here. President Joe Biden's re-election campaign is seeking guidance from crypto industry players on crypto community and policy, showing a shift in tone toward crypto.
I saw a tweet also, and it was not a statement, it wasn't anything, but it was just someone's opinion. And they said the smartest thing that Joe Biden could do to flip his stance on crypto,
fire Gary Gensler,
would be to demote Gary Gensler, fire Gary Gensler, and promote Hester Pierce. I think that's actually a pretty damn good take, right? I mean, it would immediately, you don't have to go hire somebody and then worry about what the optics are. All you're simply doing is promoting somebody. Somebody that everybody already knows.
Promotion, do it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think if you're trying to immediately, because remember, the elections are not that far away. I mean, what are we, 4 months away, right? 3-4 months away?
About 5 months away, yeah.
Or, you know, what? Anyway, it's right there. So any policy change you're going to have on crypto needs to be
soon,
going like ASAP. Do you have time to find somebody else, fire somebody, take the optics of that? Like, nah, man, just give a raise, give a bump up to old Hester, and boot Gary.
To be fair, though, there are still two very anti-crypto commissioners at the SEC, and the way they do it is they have a vote, right? Majority vote. And Gary Gensler was the final yes vote for the Bitcoin ETF. So who knows if they let Gensler go, they bring Hester up as the commission, as the chairman. There's going to be another person that gets brought up as that fifth commissioner. Who are they going to be? Because it's not just one person doing one thing. It's a committee style voting. So, but I agree with you. I think as far as sending a message, that would send a very strong message. Like, hey, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Gary Gensler, you're fired. Mother of crypto. What do they call her? The mom? Crypto mom? Crypto mom?
Mother of pearl. It's kind of like
oh, sweet mother of pearl. You know, back on Ethereum, this is pretty big. So the Bank of Singapore, DBS, emerges as the main investor in Ethereum, holding $690 million in ETH. And so who is DBS Bank? Pulling up their Wikipedia. They are the largest bank in Southeast Asia by assets and among the largest banks in Asia, period, with assets totaling $739 billion as of December 31st of 2023. They are currently have revenue of $16.5 billion, net income of around $8.1 billion. Again, the largest in Southeast Asia, top three in Asia as a whole, and they hold $700 million worth of ETH.
You still think ETH is going to...
It'll go to 10K. I just don't think it's 6 weeks post ETF. If you got rid of your time frame and said maybe 6 months, I'd say yeah. But 6 weeks, I don't think so. I mean, we were so hyper bullish on the inflows from BTC that, you know, the industry as a whole, except for maybe a handful of people, failed to be like, oh shit, well, what about Grayscale? They got rid of half of their Bitcoin. Now, of course, are we going to see the same thing from ETH? Potentially not. But I also know that it's not something that, you know, like, you can argue that people were wanting a Bitcoin ETF, but how many people really are wanting an ETH ETF in the world of macro and TradFi? I don't know the answer to that, but I can with confidence say that more people want Bitcoin over Ethereum. How is that going to translate? I thought the unique thing with Ethereum ETF would have been the staking, but since that's out the window now,
we talked about that. I remember when you brought that up, I was like, bro, there's no way there's going to be.
I mean, the filings had it in there, so
I get that.
And no one was changing it. So,
and remember, I was like, bro, there's no way if they pass that is going to stay. I'm like, they're going to amend that right out. And your boy was right. I'll say that just to keep in mind, it was damn near 2 months to the day from the filings or the ETFs for Bitcoin going live that you had the top, right? So from 42,000 to the 74,000 took only 8 weeks. So I will push back once again on this idea that it's going to be a long, steady, sustained, long period for us to get there. Remember, last bull market, ETH went straight parabolic after Bitcoin made its move, and I think that this is lining up to fuel the fire. ETF goes live. I think this thing goes absolutely parabolic, and it is not due to retail. I will say one thing though. Don't forget about the wealth gap here in America, also globally. 10% of the population control over 50% of the money here in the United States, and 20% of the population control like 90% of the monetary system. And so the wealth gap, it's only a small fraction of the money out here is middle class. And it is the privileged, the small percentage, the upper 20% of people that really invest, make money work. And you know what? If retail ain't here yet, does it? I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but the real money is here. The real money has exposure to Bitcoin or has the opportunity to buy it. And so I think that's what is different this time. And I don't know, man. I'm just excited. Also, just I'm gonna give a little.
This time is different, man.
Michael Caballero. He said, first time watching you guys live. Also, I did see some other names in here as well. We got Shimatrice. We got Satoshi Nakamoto up in here. What's up? And then McGreg as well. So to all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
Yeah. You know, I think you talk about the wealth gap. I think a bigger one is the wealth transfer, right? You talk about the largest generation that has about $70 trillion in assets. 10,000 of them every single day are retiring, and around 4 million a year are dying. Yeah. And so that money gets passed down to younger generation. They're more.
And then what I was also saying, I looked it up. So it's actually 10% of households hold nearly 70% of U.S. wealth. So it's even larger gap than that.
And the gap is not going the opposite way.
And that was as of 2021. And so that gap has probably even widened since then in the last 3 years. So I think you can't dismiss the fact that the bank smart monies institutions are the ones that drive the markets. You can't deny that. And there was a product that wasn't available to 90% of those institutions, and that is now available. And so the liquidity is here, and so the fuel is here. If you want to use the rocket analogy, the moon thing, whatever it is, we couldn't take it to the next level without the rails of institutions. So there you go.
I do want to cover one more thing here, and then we'll get into the Q&A. So there's a lot of talk about stable coins. So you had the U.S. Treasury Department's Undersecretary, Brian Nelson, spoke at Consensus and said that, so the Undersecretary for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence warned that unregulated stablecoins are attracting increasing adoption from North Korean cyber criminals, ransomware operators, and even terrorist groups. Talking about, hey, we need a regulated stablecoin market. That is one of the bills that I think has a lot of leeway or has a lot of headway from both Republicans and Democrats. But off of that news, Chainlink and Circle want to help U.S. institutions use stablecoins and DeFi. So Oracle provided Chainlink, and stablecoin issuer Circle want to expand stablecoin utility for institutions through a new partnership. This new partnership will allow them to educate developers on Circle's programmable Web3, blockchain agnostic wallets, and smart contract platform, which is designed to bring Web3 interactions to more apps easily. The combination of the two teams, a quote from William Riley, global head of finance at Chainlink, the combination of the two teams' expertise makes this partnership very powerful for moving the industry forward and growing the adoption of tokenized assets. Chainlink does have a booth here at Consensus. We did meet a few people from their team, and they talk about, hey, look, I asked them a question. I said, Chainlink CCIP, there's a lot of projects and protocols that claim interoperability. What makes Chainlink CCIP unique compared to, let's just say, what Near is doing with account abstraction? And he said that we've been doing this for not the last 3 months, 6 months, but for years. And when he was speaking, all I could think about was Cardano and how they take so long to launch a product and test and get it out there and peer reviewed and vote and this and that. And so he's pretty much said, look, when we talk about cross-chain interoperability, especially with the private side, right, the private blockchains, the banks, the large institutions, they're going to go with the one that has longevity, the one that's got a track record, and the one that's the safest. And he said Chainlink has a track record with the Oracle service, started off there, and with everything they're doing with CCIP. And so now they're partnering with Circle in the stablecoin game. We know Circle has their own cross-chain protocol. I actually saw that as more of a threat to CCIP than some of the other blockchains that claim they're doing interoperability. So it's just interesting. Chainlink is making a lot of non-sexy moves, but it will literally translate into price appreciation over an extended period of time.
Yeah, don't sleep on Chainlink. I won't add too much to what you're saying, but the lifeblood of any blockchain system outside of Bitcoin, especially anything that offers smart contracts. The lifeblood is stablecoins, right? You buy and sell tokens on the exchange with stablecoin, right? Outside of the ETFs, how do you purchase any crypto? You put your money on an exchange, and then for the most part, you buy stable coins, and then from there you buy your crypto. So everything shuffles through, maybe not 100%, but for the most part, majority of the money, 90% of crypto that is purchased flows through stable coins, and so it's the lifeblood of any blockchain. And also anything outside of Bitcoin, especially these smart contract layer ones, the lifeblood for them to operate and function is with oracles. And so if you get a one-stop shop where you have an oracle service, which is a must and need, and you also have stable coins, which is the lifeblood and facilitates the movement of value, put the two together under one platform, under one hood, with less points of failure, and you throw in some cross-chain interoperability, it seems like there's a service that Chainlink is offering that nobody else can, even if you have interoperability. Oh, this chain does interoperability, but are they also already integrated between the two chains, providing Oracle services? Are they already intertwined into the layer one and into the smart contract ecosystem? Because if they're already there and they're already functioning, and you're just turning on new utility, seems like might be an easier play, right? So it's almost like a Trojan horse.
I like horses. They're good animals. We had this piece of news from Avalanche. So, I talk about all the time, part of the reason I'm so bullish on AVAX as far as from a price appreciation standpoint is anyone that wants to launch a subnet got to have minimum 5 validators. Each validator costs about 2,000 AVAX tokens. So anytime you want to launch subnet, 10,000 AVAX, got to go buy it, stake it, launch a subnet. They are looking to change that. So this is a tweet from Avalanche Gaming. Want to create your own layer one, it's going to cost you, but that's changing. Validators for Avalanche's layer one are currently required to validate the primary network, which requires 2,000 AVAX per validator. The Avalanche community proposal titled Reinventing Subnets aims to change that requirement, significantly reducing the upfront costs for developers to launch a subnet chain. Thoughts on that?
I think breaks down the barrier entry. Smaller devs can spin up projects.
Do you think that's why people aren't building on Avalanche? Part of the reason it's too expensive?
I don't think so. I mean, so what is it, like $50,000?
10,000 AVAX token, $40, about $40,000.
Yeah.
That's it's not the cheapest way to do it, I guess, but you're talking about a top 20 project that's got a track record, it's got a great team behind it. I don't know, is 40K too much to launch? It's a matter of, do you think lowering that number from, let's say, 2,000 to 1,000, is that going to more than double the amount of people that are going to launch a subnet? If the answer is no, then
you're obviously going to bring in more devs. You're going to bring in more dApps and developers if the barrier for entry is cheaper. But I feel like if you're a company and you're building a product that you're expecting thousands of people to adopt, if you can't come up with 40 grand,
yeah, if you're gonna launch a chain, like
it's the same thing. Like if you're here in America and you're like, I'm gonna start my own business, I'm gonna start my own restaurant. Okay, how much money do you have to start? $200? Like, okay, like no. Like you want to open up a business, you're gonna need probably 800 grand, right? At least for the smallest space possible. And so you want to open up a business in crypto, like you can't come up with 40 grand. I mean, I know traders out here that got 40 grand sitting on the sidelines, right? And so I don't look at that as some reason why people aren't building on Avalanche. Myself personally. I mean,
yeah.
He was saying he's never used stable coins to purchase from centralized exchange. I mean, the only one I can think of is Coinbase, where you put on money and you buy directly with fiat. But outside of Coinbase, you pretty much all the trading pairs are usually in in stable coins. Also, I would recommend you look at how much. I would say to you, Jack and a Beanstalk, if you're only buying in fiat straight on bank, you're probably getting arbitrage to death, bro. Have you ever seen how much Bitcoin or you pull off when you buy in straight cash, the USD, on Coinbase? And then if you go to like Coinbase Advanced and you go into their trading and you set a buy order with a particular amount per stablecoin, you can come off with a lot better rate than you would buying directly off of just a cash transaction.
Well, their spread is
and so can you just put money into an ATM, buy Bitcoin that way? Yes. Are the fees of those ATMs going to knock you upside the head? Absolutely. Can you go on Coinbase and just pull the trigger with $100 without buying stablecoin? You can, but you're not getting the best price by a mile. I promise you that. And so basically, to get the best price, you want the deepest liquidity, and the deepest liquidity on every exchange is the trading pair for Bitcoin/USDC, Bitcoin/USDT. And so I would encourage you, if you're making routine buys, look at the price on stablecoin, because you're probably going to get a way better value there.
We're going to have statements?
Yeah. All right, so we're going to move into our Q&A segment. So typically, we're in the studio, we kind of got this show structured out, but we figure since we're just out here lounging and relaxing, I put lax in there twice. But if we're doing that, why not engage with the community? We'll field some questions. We'll do this for about 10 minutes or so. We'll take maybe about 10 questions. So without further ado, if there's anything you want to know about me or David, let us know.
Dude, that dinner last night was...
Oh yeah, we went to Red Ash, which is my favorite restaurant here in Austin, Texas. It's an Italian steakhouse kind of thing going on. I don't know. Anyways, they do some damn good food, man. They do a bruschetta with meat scraps. So I guess the butcher just chops up the, is over here butchering, and then there's always lots of scraps.
That's all bone marrow?
Bone marrow, fire.
Meatballs,
delicious.
delicious.
Yeah.
The filete. Mm-hmm. We're going to Karate Combat tonight, and Rob's been there a couple times. I've never been there. I'm super excited to go.
Yeah, I know Ada BB says, which Karate Combat fights are you excited for? I don't know any of the
fighters. Who's fighting?
Yeah, I don't know the fighters.
I do know that Fire Festival guy, Billy McFarland. Love to see him get his ass beat.
Fire Festival?
Yeah, remember the one that they took money and...
Is that the celebrity one, or is that...
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the celebrity...
I think he's fighting J Chains.
So the celebrity... Okay, so real quick, there's...
I'll be rooting for J Chains.
Okay, so real quick, there's the influencer fights, where it's basically all the crypto influencers. That's early. That's like the 6 o'clock stuff. That's the undercard. That's the undercard before the undercards, and then after that will be the actual overcard. That'll be the real professional fighters, right? The influencer, the one you might see on your favorite YouTubers' names. Port Nocturolo. Jesus, I'm so bad at pronouncing. But anyways, Port said, will you please go to Cornucopia's booth? We stopped by there, but there's a lot of there's so many, you know what I mean?
Well, they're at every convention, man.
They have these, the playable demos there, and there's like full cockpit kind of style things. And we've seen those, and so because it's something different at the conventions. Oh, hey, here's something we can sit down, race a car, or whatever it is. It's packed, and so there's always people in there trying to play around, and so anyways, it's hard to get someone's attention and talk to them intellectually for more than a couple minutes.
There's a lot of people here. Sergey's here from Chainlink. They had their birthday bash yesterday. We didn't get to go, but it was pretty cool. Meeting a lot of those Chainlink people, and Kathy Wood was here. You got a lot of politicians that are here as well. And so I'll tell you what, though, this is my first year at Consensus. I know Rob came last year, but that was during a bear market. Excuse me. And I thought it was going to be a lot bigger. You know, when I think about the Miami conference, the Bitcoin conference I went to in 2022, that was big. And you got to remember, like, we're from Vegas, and we have I think the Las Vegas Convention Center is the largest.
You're just spoiled, man.
Yeah. So, bless you. All right, what other questions you got?
Crickcat says, you talked to anyone from Caspa? Yeah, we actually did. We have some. We got some different. We have some conversations going on. We're gonna bring somebody on the show. It sounds like we're in the works with that. So if you're a Caspa fan, we're gonna have some more content coming out of the Caspa community.
I want to show the other side, and then we got this as well. This is pretty cool. It's a Caspa cheat sheet.
So it's like a little blueprint, a roadmap thing.
So this gentleman told me, you know, we talked about KRC and, you know, what's coming with the token standard and smart contracts, and he said they got a line of people that are ready to launch projects on Caspa. So
Warren McCarty said BitBoy got kicked out of consensus. He never even got in.
Oh my God! Should we tell him?
No.
Okay. All right.
I'm not trying to.
Maybe I'll throw it in the whale group. Maybe I'll tell the whales what's going on.
Yeah.
That was funny.
What else we got? Any other questions here?
Why celebrities coming up with meme coins just to rug pull? Yeah, you know, you had. Oh God. Now you have Soldier Boy back doing it. It's funny because Zach XBT, right, the guy who exposed a bunch of crooks and people who rug pulled and pump and dump their community. Not going to name any names. Every time one of these celebrities posts something, he is in their comment section with screenshots of what they did last cycle. Was this you, or do you remember this? It was, dude. It was super funny. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that the celebrity
guys, yeah, don't fall for it. Like you want to talk like the riskiest of risky meme coins is these celebrity coins.
Yeah, because they're launched by an individual who...
And they don't give a shit.
Yeah,
they don't give a shit.
Yeah, I would say, at least if it came from someone that knows crypto, maybe they'll pretend to make some kind of utility. The funny thing is like, you remember we had Tekashi came out with his own...
Yeah, everyone and their mom did.
Dude, and so... these people don't know anything about crypto. So then they try to talk about utility, and they're like, oh yeah, it's gonna do all this. Remember Jake Paul?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, it's gonna be a token that, you know, and so the guys, they don't understand how crypto works. They don't understand what is feasible, or what can actually be built, or what the community actually needs, or what the community would actually be interested in if you built. And so I would just stay away from the celebrity ones. If you want some super high risk plays, you want some tremendous upside, there's plenty of stuff. I just wouldn't touch the celebrity ones. Has there ever been a successful celebrity one launched by a celebrity? No. I mean, the only one you could think of would be the MAGA, but that one wasn't launched wasn't launched by them. It was launched by a third party, right? You have the Doja on Mars. That one did pretty well, but that wasn't launched by the camp. So if someone launches their own token and they're a celebrity, there's zero track record of any success in that range. So
you know, Rusty Bob brings up a good point. You know, it mentions, you know, Sean Kingston. I hear he needs money. You know, you see these documentaries, Robin, all the time about athletes who made millions but go broke in retirement, right? Because they're not money managing. You got your agent and family and this and that, bad investments. Everyone coming out of the woodworks. Hey, I'm launching a company. You want to invest? And next thing you know, you're broke. And so these people, like, the one thing they have left is brand and recognition. Is, hey, Sean Kingston might not have made music in the last 10 years, but guess what? People know that name. And so when he decides to, hey, I need to make some money, all I got to do is pay a dev $20K and they can launch a token for me. And all I got to do is tweet about it a few times, join the spaces, and potentially make millions of dollars. Who's not going to want to do that? And they don't give a shit about us. They don't give a shit about you. They don't care about our space. They see it as a money grab. It is what it is. I just wouldn't put any money into myself. It's your money. You do whatever you want.
Yeah. All right. We'll take one more question. If you guys want to throw it in there now, it doesn't have to be about crypto. Just while we give you time to put something in there for a question, we'll be back in Vegas tomorrow. Are we gonna do a live show tomorrow, or are we gonna be in the airport?
We're gonna be at the airport.
So there's actually no live show tomorrow. So we're gonna go ahead and send you apologies there. The team will just be at the airport, so we're not gonna be able to do it. So with that said, we'll be joining you back on Monday. We'll be in studio. We got nothing on the horizon here coming up in the next 2-3 months. So you'll be seeing us live in studio every day. We've so far come away from this convention with a lot of new and interesting people that we've met and connections. And so with that said, expect the quality of the show to increase because we got some inside information, perhaps not like token information, but we got some high level executives from different projects that you're familiar with that we're a little bit more connected with, and so we might be able to give you a little bit more up-to-date information before it comes out, like last minute, So yeah.
All right, that'll wrap it up for the show today. We love you guys. We will see you tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow. We'll see you Monday. And so appreciate you guys. We love you. Follow us on Twitter, and we'll see you all next time.
Rusty Bot said, one question. What is the AC set on? We turned it off because the microphones are very sensitive here.
But I like to keep it on like 69.